Hello and welcome to Saved, Not Scammed, where we expose manipulation, uplift the truth, and always remember Jesus didn't need an upline, so neither do we. My name is Kayla, and I am a self-proclaimed little tiny baby Christian. I am also a strong proponent for anti-MLM, meaning I do not like multi-level marketing business structures. I don't like the companies. The business structure itself is specifically designed for a very minute amount of its participants to see any kind of return on their investment, while the remaining participants, although they have to put money in order to see a return on their investment, will not see anything. In fact, they will lose money, see no money, or make the teeniest amounts of money. And that is according to the FTC. Don't just take my word for it. The link will always be down below for that wonderful article. It's a quick read. Highly recommend it. Today, we are going to be talking more Nueva. You guys seem to love it and enjoy it. So we have Tony Zalecki here. And I just quickly went onto his Facebook, found his most recent video that was yesterday, which is 11/18, and I quickly just went into one little portion of his video, and right off the bat I was like, we got a good one, guys. Now, I have not posted in a while, and I want to be really transparent with you guys. I'm probably going to draw more attention to it just by saying it out loud. I am missing a tooth. I laugh and I smile a lot, so you are going to notice it. I know I noticed it, and it was a big hindrance for me to be doing videos. I have a partial denture. You might have noticed it in other videos if you are, a dental person in general. But I have two beautiful huskies who love to chew things. That's what huskies do, and they decided what a delicious, delectable treat my partial denture would be. And so as I'm waiting for my very expensive new one to be made, I am toothless. Yes, I do love How to Train Your Dragons, and I do love that nickname. And so I call myself that frequently in the household when I'm not wearing my denture. But that is something that was making me feel a little uncomfortable about filming. But you know what? It is what it is, and I think that this information is more important than my, own insecurities. There's lots of people who have lots of dental insecurities, and I'm happy enough to have the teeth that I do have, so I should be thankful for that. Thank you, God, of course. I do say that I am Christian in my content very quickly because I do like to expose faith and manipulation through biblical verses, going, no, that's not what the Bible says. So if there is any faith manipulation in there, I will call it out using scripture itself. If there isn't any of that, no big deal. But this is a place for everyone, whether you believe Christianity or not my prerogative to convince you one way or the other. Let's get into this bad boy. And if you're curious about how I lost my said tooth, it is called resorption. It is where the tooth essentially attacks itself from the inside out. Unfortunately, due to a number of reasons, I cannot get an implant, or it would be most likely to fail to get an implant. So denture is, what the homegirl wants and what the homegirl has. I'm just a little old lady over here. So let's let Tony do his thing, shall we?
Okay, so one of your top selling products sells out. So what do? Do not panic. Do not say the sky is falling. Oh my gosh, this isn't gonna work for me. You gotta do this. My name is Tony Zalecki. I've been in the space now for over 30 years, and I love this topic because it's actually happening to me and us right now in this moment. And I want to teach you a bunch of cool stuff so that you can use it, so that you can learn from it, so you can figure things out, so that you can use it as a springboard just to create more sales, more customers, more growth, a bigger November. And listen, if you've been in network marketing, if you've been in any kind of selling, you will run out of products. You know that, right? You will have something that comes along sooner or later that sweeps the world, that everybody wants, that everybody just...
So Nueva, if you don't know, is a very new company. Their old company, when I say their, I mean the people who created Nueva. They got together after their old company, Modere, unexpectedly went out of business. With that being said, Tony and I'm sure his collective upper peeps are really putting out fires right now as they start this new wave of business. And I can only assume, based off of the small information I have, and everything of course said in this video is my own opinion and none of what I say is fact, of course, except of course the FTC. You can read that down below. What I can only presume is happening is that they didn't foresee an item being super popular. Maybe they originally pushed it, or a lot of people were really liking it, and it sold out really fast. And because it was a flagship product, they are now going, uh-oh, people, we're really putting a lot of hype around this product. Now we have to pivot. So this is him putting out some fires and having them pivot to a different product.
They can't they're like, I want 1, I want 2, I want 5. That's absolutely what's happened to us. I mean, we've sold 10,000 bottles of this product the last week, and everybody wants it, and everybody wants more of it. So here's what I want to tell you. This is kind of how you got to think about this right now. And again, I've gone through this, and I've learned how to really use it to my advantage versus crumbling and falling apart and just throwing in the towel and just say, okay, maybe I'll just wait for next month or whatever the case is. So first thing you need to understand is this: sold out isn't a setback. It's a signal that your product or products are in massive demand. People are like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. I want it. Oh my gosh, I want to refer this one to my friend. Oh my gosh, I want to buy multiple sets of it. Oh my gosh.
I think that this is a really good example of the fact that their representatives are not experts. As a previous salesperson who is a expert sales representative for over 10 years, over a decade. Gosh, I can't even count how many, 14 years, I don't know. Of course, having a sold out product is not a setback. Of course, it's a supply and demand. Of course, that makes it actually a more elevated thing. And of course, that gives you leverage to sell similar products, other products. Of course, that gets people at least in the door in order for you, once again, to leverage other products. But because of the fact that the people that they're talking to either A, might not have any sales experience whatsoever. They're just Joe Schmoes off the street, sold a dream that they can make this business opportunity into their way of becoming a millionaire, right? But because of the fact that they don't know, they don't know what they're doing, they have to be fed, literally spoon-fed this information like a kindergartner. As a sales, if my manager talked to me like this in the sales field, I'd be like, duh, like, what are you talking about? Like, okay, what's our next, product that we're going to focus on? What are the, promos behind it? Remind us of the really good information behind us. What's the stats behind it? Information like that. The rest of it, we would know how to do. We would know how to leverage it. We would know how to sell it. We would know what to do. It is not a mystery. Let's let him cook.
Gosh, I'm thinking about Christmas gifts. I'm thinking about stocking stuffers. I'm thinking about putting this thing everywhere. You have a product or products that are in massive demand. That is a great, great thing. Number 2, your marketing is working. So whatever your marketing looks like with that product, with those products, guess what? You're getting people to engage. You're getting people to watch. You're getting people to order. You're getting people to share. You're getting people to opt in. You're getting people to say, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I want it. So another great thing, your marketing is working. Guess what? Customers trust you because...
So he just said it right there, customers. And one thing that we find so frequently in multi-level marketing schemes, pyramid schemes, and scams, in my opinion, is that the customers are in fact the reps. They are the ones who are purchasing these products. It's not me just going, oh, you know what, I'd like to go on today, Nueva's website, and order this product as someone completely unrelated. But of course, they're not going to say that. And they never, ever will. They're always going to position it as if someone else, these elusive customers, woo, are the ones who are purchasing the products that are so amazing.
They're hearing stories, they're seeing things that are happening, they're watching people transform, right in front of their eyes. They might be in groups, they might be in chats, they might be in text threads, they might be on Zooms, lives, they might be watching reels, they might be doing a ton of different things, but the customers are going, wow, I'm seeing this happen not once, not twice, not a dozen times, but look at all these people. Look at all these results. Look at all these things that are happening, and there's some trust there, and that is a really, really good thing, okay?
This is a perfect place to stop. I hate to be this person because I probably have stuff all over the place all the time. I remember one video, it was like this the whole time. But because I don't have a viewfinder, I just shoot from my phone and I just call it a gosh darn day, right? I have like a light reflection I can kind of see in like the darkness of a monitor, but other than that, I have no idea what I'd be looking like. But his nostrils kind of give the like effect that he's got like a little big up there, and I just kind of want to be like tap tap, Tony. But it is just the way his nostrils flare. I mean, not to say that he is, handsome or not handsome. He's, that hairdo is not for me per se. I like a good, hat off kind of look. A good, like, I just took my hat off and I've been working hard all day kind of look. Ooh. Specifically on my own man. You know what I'm trying to say. But let's let him continue. Sorry for that random rant.
So here's what you have to understand, is that your company, when this happens, you've got something that you need to really sit back and go, okay, how can I maximize this? How can I take it to a different level? Yes, the company is hot. Yes, the company is fresh. Yes, the company is moving. But here's what I want you to think. This is what I used to do when this happened to me years ago. I've been in the space, like I said, 30 years. I would used to just panic my butt off. I would used to just go, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I'd be a wreck. I'd be a mess. I would be drama Tony. I would be like falling apart. And I just remember my sponsor, and it was amazing what she did, because she didn't buy any of that stuff. She's like, Tony, don't panic. You need to pivot. You need to think, okay, what is the opportunity that you can create inside of this product or products being sold out? And what can you really go out and do and really have as far as a story, as far as an excuse to talk to more people, to follow up with more people? What is that going to look like? So
the fact that Tony himself is admitting to being in a state of panic at one point in time, it just goes to show the level of unease that these representatives are at and in for a variety of different reasons. And I'm not going to list them off per se now, but I want you to, throughout this, think of the type of unease he's trying to settle, right? He is trying to keep them all calm and keep them, hey, it's okay. And lots of jobs have stressors, right? But at least you're given usually lots of quality resources, quality training, hopefully. If you are not given that, this is not a great economy to look for a job. Okay, for surezies, but absolutely your job should be offering that kind of structure to it in order to ensure its professionals have the aptitude and the capability to do their job successfully. Regardless, though, just think about that. Even Tony himself was like panicking. I never panicked at my sales job, the only time I panicked was when we got robbed, you know what I mean? Making sure we were all safe and okay. That was it. And even then it's take ourselves. We got insurance. Bye, Bokies.
what I want you to think about when this happens to you is, and it will, if you're in our space, it will. It's just a matter of time if you haven't experienced yet. You got to think of, okay, what is the opportunity right now for me at this moment? So the first thing you want to do is you want to look at your list, your VIP list. And I'll give you a great example of this. So like we had created a VIP list of like about 50 people, right? You know, about 2-3 weeks ago. And we knew this product was being launched. So when we created this VIP list, you know, did all 50 people buy the last week when the product was in stock? No, they didn't. You know, maybe 10 or 15 bought, something like that, but not all 50 bought. So guess what happens is you get to go back now, I get to go back now to that VIP list and tell the story to the other 35 people that wanted the product. But if they want it today, excuse me, guess what? They can't get it today because we're sold out. It's out of stock. So I want to tell them exactly what's been going on. I want to share some stories. I want to talk about when it restocks, how they can be on top of my list, my VIP list, to be the first one to get the order, to be the first one to get that product shipped out to them, to be the first one so that they're waiting at their doorstep, and when it arrives, they can start using it and getting the amazing results everybody else is getting. But you also now want to use this as an opportunity to go start new conversations, whether they've been kind of what you've been thinking about talking to this person or that person. Use this as fuel, use this as excitement, use this as a story to go open up new conversations.
And this is one of the reasons why multi-level marketing doesn't work. Because who wants to be bugged in this manner? I can't even stand the H&M messages, 20% off these holiday specials. I don't care. It is so rare that I care. When I am ready to purchase things, I go in my email and I go, what are the sales at H&M? And I type in H&M in my little email and I see what the sales are. If the sales aren't, where the party's at, then I go, I don't really want to buy stuff right now, whatever it is. But could you imagine constantly having a Bath and Body Works employee have your phone number and being like, did you know the 3x3 get 3 free is going on next week? Ooh, it was gone last week and you missed out, but guess what? It's back. Like, could you imagine the annoyance about it? One of my favorite things is that if you go online to purchase something, and let's say that the item is no longer, available, it's sold out, and it says, if you want to be notified about this, please put in your email. And I can go, oh, I'm kind of curious about this product. I'll put in my junk email address. Or, oh my gosh, I want this product. I'm going to put in my email address I get notifications on. And I put in that email address. And then I get notified when it's available. And guess what? I scroll a little bit down and it says, if you like this product, guess what other customers like that are similar? And I go, oh, that's kind of cool. And whatever. Ultimately though, I am a huge proponent for being anti-consumerism. I actually made an entire video. I did not edit it. I was like, this feels a little too personal, maybe a little too, I don't know. I couldn't, after I filmed it, I had fun filming it, but I've been a more minimalist style person. You wouldn't even tell it by the background because that's just my crafts. When it comes to girls' crafts, girl, okay, let her be. But the rest of my house, it's very minimalist. Anyway, it's how I went from, when I was 20 years old, I had 2 walk-in closets completely filled with clothes. And I lived by myself, literally paid for that apartment by myself. I had a 2-bedroom with 2 walk-in closets because I was like, if it's only it was like $50 more and it had like better location, blah, 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 all this stuff. Okay. Regardless, I was like, if I ever need to get a roommate, it would be way cheaper than if I just had a 1-bedroom and had no opportunity for a roommate. Anyway, that's beside the point. I don't remember what I was talking about. Let's let Zaleski Zaleski? I keep calling him Zaleski. Zaleski cook. Kick. Saute.
Gosh, Kathy, you won't even believe it. We released this product. This is what it is. This is what's happened. We sold 10,000 units the last week. Holy cow, this is what's happening to people. These are the results they're getting. Man, you would love this product. I have to get you some more information, put you inside this group, put you inside this text thread so that you can talk to so-and-so. You can hear what's happened to them the last, couple days, the last couple weeks. And guess what'll happen? You now have a new conversation. You now have a new potential prospect. You now have a new potential customer that is on your list. So when it restocks, they're going to order the product. Like, that is the opportunity you got to think about. Most people in our space in network marketing, you know what they do? They don't have confidence. They don't have belief. They don't want to do reach outs. They're scared. They're afraid of what people are going to think. They're afraid of the objections they're going to get. They feel like they don't have enough to talk about with somebody. Maybe they're new.
The amount of times that they say in these videos, the fear, how afraid you are, all that stuff, the amount of time they spend convincing people to do things that they clearly don't want to do is exhausting. Exhausting. People don't want to do it. They feel uncomfortable doing it. And then they spend all this time saying two things. They say, number one, it's your mindset. It's your mind. You got to get into that mindset. And number two is uncomfortability is where you find success, is where you find breakthrough. And it's like, no, that's your body and your mind saying this is wrong. Bugging your friends and family, being that annoying Bath and Body Works person, sorry to all the Bath and Body Works employees, being that annoying person who will not stop bugging people about crap that they don't want, convincing them that this product is the best thing since freaking Advil was created, when if it really was, then guess what? Doctors would be prescribing it. Pharmaceutical companies would be on that. If it truly had profitability and success rates, pharmaceutical companies would be up that thing. Sorry, Zalecki. Let's be honest. And he's not. All this is nonsense. And once again, let's let him saute, okay? Let's let him julienne, all right?
New in the business. Maybe they're just kind of getting their business off the ground. I know I was like this. But here's what you want to do. And you want to get together with your team immediately. If you got you and somebody else, that's a team. You know what I mean? If you got you and 5 people, you and 10 people,
you and somebody else, yeah, you and your mom, you and your sister, you and your husband, he is saying that's a team because he's trying to encourage people, the majority of people who only have one person, and that one person is usually a very close family or friend that they have convinced, to be a part of their team. But he's like saying that so excitedly, oh, that is a team. That is a team. Because literally that's what most of their teams are made out of.
You and 50 people. You know where I'm going with this?
Because you can't convince that many.
I would call an emergency.
Because you can't convince that many people to be a part of this junk. You can't.
Emergency Zoom right now. I would call an emergency. We got to all get together. Leaders, let's go. Everybody, get on here. Because we got to talk about what's going on right now. We got to talk about how we're going to use this and pivot so everybody in the team doubles, triples their volume the last week of the month versus being bummed out, wanting to go, oh my God, I'm in panic mode. What am I going to do, right? You want to flip the script. You want to make sure that everybody is running full speed with their hair on fire going, oh my gosh, this could be probably the best thing that ever happened to me is us being sold out. Us not having this product right now, because now I've got urgency. Now my story gets better. Now we're going to really lay out marching orders for the whole organization. Hey, Brenda, I appreciate that. So that when this thing comes back in stock in 3, 4, 5, 6 days, whatever it is, and then I know I have another 7, 8 days with it to close November. I'm going to start when the restock happens. I'm going to start with more momentum than I ever had at the beginning of November, than I ever had when they first launched the product, than I ever had when this idea was on the table with my company, with my business. Do you see the difference there? That's the difference between a leader and someone that's just not figured it out yet. And if you haven't figured it out yet, it's okay. That's why you have to attach yourself to a leader, to somebody that can explain this to you so that you can take this and use it as a positive, use it.
I love how he just kind of essentially said, attach yourself to me because I'm explaining the benefits of having a sold out flagship product. He like inadvertently said, you know, essentially, even though he said attach yourself to a leader, he also meant like if you don't have one, I'm also a good one. Me. Me, Tony's so lucky.
Thanks, Julia, for your best advantage so you can have the best ever. So here's another thing. When your product sells out or products, you might have this favorite one that's the hottest thing since sliced bread. Guess what? You know you also have product B to sell. You know you also have product C to sell. You know you have also product D to sell. Do you know where I'm going with this? Your amazing company, your amazing brand, whatever you're promoting, whatever you're selling, whatever you're doing, you know there's other products besides the one that just sold out or the multiple ones that just sold out. You know that, right? So again, use your other products and use those to get people engaged and get them using them and get them ordering them and get them experiencing them. That is a good thing. Because if you get someone on product A, product B, product C, guess what's going to happen? Now they start using that and start going, wow, this is really good. Wow.
Okay, something that I like to do when we're at like a good marker, so we're 10 minutes into this 30-minute video, is go, what have they actually said in the last 10 minutes? Let's discuss. He has said, number 1, don't panic. Okay. All right. Good to know, good to know, good to know. Number 2, he has said, figure out who wants to purchase it essentially when it comes back in stock. Okay. Good to know, good to know, good to know. All right. He has said, sell your other products. 10 minutes. And let me just tell you, and this is something Julie Anderson does that I absolutely love, is she goes, here's what would actually be helpful. Here, as someone who is anti-MLM, let me help MLMers out. Let's say that she says, listen, this product right now, this product is completely out of stock right now. This has been our flagship product. People are going ham for it. Unfortunately, it's sold out. We do not think that it will be back in stock for the next month. That means most likely it will not arrive by Christmas. Okay. We are hoping we will get some in stock soon, but most likely it will not. Okay. With that being said, something that people are loving and really pivoting hard to is this product. Let me tell you why. And they, example. And when he's talking about storytelling, right? He says, give him a story. Here's the reason why I love this product. Let's pretend they're both, what does he sell? Wellness products, right? This product was giving people the most calming energy possible, right? Really helping people, especially in this holiday madness, get that level head again, not feel like the chaos was overwhelming them. Well, this one does it, but in a way that really allows them to feel it in their headspace, right? It's not going to be that kind of like body feeling, but ultimately this allows them to get more stuff done, especially when it is a busy time of the year. They're actually going to want this one more. And I had a customer, once again, storytelling, and you say the customer is saying they ended up preferring this one, switched completely over, and it was the perfect timing because that one actually sold out, and now this one hasn't sold out anymore. Blah, 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 storytell. I don't know whatever crap they say. And once again, sales, this is why I left the sales field. You have to do it with, I believe, when you're selling a product, when you have sales, and I love the products that I sold, I didn't like the managers and the way that they pushed the sales. And when it got to be coming from, because managers are one thing, when it comes from the top, that's when I had a problem. And I was like, I need to get the heck out of here, because they are having us do things that are so shady, and people were getting promoted that had been doing nothing but shady stuff. There's all kinds of fun names. We would call them trees for being so shady. Anywho, but when it gets to be stuff like that, that's when I can't stand it, because I was like, you're my customer for freaking life. I still see them in the grocery store to this day, and I'm like, what's up, Miss Robinson? You know, whatever their names are. And then he can go in depth about multiple different products. If there's multiple things that are sold out, multiple different products, give multiple examples of stories, and say, hey, have everyone get in a call, label it this or that. Just saying it's an emergency, I mean, I feel like that's doing too much, right? Say, this is a great call, how to pivot from flagship products that are sold out to other popular, products that are in stock right now, whatever it is. And it's important to have, of course, product knowledge, product education, and at the same time, have that suave storytelling capability. He's not wrong in that. Like, it's important to know that, have that open dialogue with customers. But it should be more like, hey, I know your favorite products are sold out right now. They're wonderful, but we've got stuff, that is just as incredible, if not more. And this is that opportunity when people actually find stuff that they end up loving even more. When your favorite restaurant food is sold out and you try something different, and you're like, I wish I had known this existed all along, but I was so stuck on my favorite food. That never happens to me. My favorite is always my favorite. What's your Chipotle order? I'd love to know your Chipotle order. Everyone's Chipotle order is so fun. If you don't like Chipotle, some people are like, Chipotle so nasty. Oh, are you? Okay, mine is white rice, pinto beans, chicken. When they had the, what was it, like the honey spicy chicken? I don't remember what it was called. That was really good. That y'all are going to think I'm so nasty. I don't care. Then I get corn salsa, sour cream, and then I specifically say copious amounts of cheese. And then I say more cheese, more cheese, more cheese, more cheese. Guacamole, more cheese, more cheese. And then close it. And then I eat it with chips. And I do not mix. The key is not mixing. My husband, he's a mixaholic. Everything he gets, he just mixes. I'm like scooting my chair. I am a non-mixer. I want to perfectly cut and see all the layers. Oh, and I love the white rice. Oh, it's so good. Sometimes I just want a little scoop of just the rice by itself. Oh, it's so good. Why are we talking about Chipotle, Kayla? All right. Moving on, 10 minutes in, Tony's told us nothing. He's giving us no quality content, in my humble opinion, as a sales professional. But, well, I'm not in the field anymore, but I still feel like I know enough about it to say that he sucks. And this entire thing, let's be quite frank and quite honest, is a sales pitch. It's a sales pitch to convince you to think that he's awesome and you should stick around because he knows everything. That's what the real sales pitch here is it's Tony selling himself that he's a big old know-it-all and that he's the best thing ever and you should stick around and be on his sales team.
Oh, this is really amazing. Man, this is helping me with A, B, C, D, E, F, G as far as things it's doing for them, right? Now what's going to happen? When that awesome product, your top seller, comes back in, it's a no-brainer for them to get that. It's a no-brainer for them to get multiple sets of that. It's a no-brainer for them to bring their entire world, whether it's consumers, whether it's people that want to build a business, to you, to your company, to your brand, to your business, because you know what's going to happen? Is they know they've been using your other products, and this one that's been sold out, that just came back in 3, 4, 5 days, whatever it is, they're like, man, I'm in. Man, I get this now. I like this. So again, you've got to think about this and use it to
If
your
they're
advantage.
replenishing products within 3, 4, 5 days, that sounds like a fake sold out, which they do that to push the demand higher. In order for it's an artificial supply and demand cultivation, and or however fancy you want to say it, I don't know, essentially falsifying the supply in order to push the demand higher to make it seem like it's more sought after. Typically, if a product is truly sold out, because they're doing it from a warehouse, pushing out the products. It's not like they're sold out just in the store and the supply truck will be here in a couple days, right? They would need to, be in a situation where they're waiting on a large restock from the manufacturer itself. So that's a little sus to me. I would expect it to be at least 4 to 8 weeks out for something like that. But okay, Tony, whatever. I'm not saying anything as fact. I don't be knowing, but that just seems sus.
But here's the biggest thing I want to tell you.
What, Tony?
You want to promote the products that are available to you all the time.
Duh.
What I love that we're doing as a company, as a brand, is we could have kept the SKU alive. We could have kept the products being ordered. But you know why we didn't? Because we want to get confirmation that we know this next shipment is boom, landing, and then we're turning it back on. Why are we doing it that way? Because we have integrity. Why? Because we want to treat the field and the consumers and the people that are promoting the brand at a level they should be treated at. And we want to be really authentic with them. That's another thing. When you're sharing this and you're telling the story, be real. The truth is always good enough. Be authentic. You don't need to make up stories. You don't need to, make these little lies because it makes the story even better, or hey, what's up, brother? It makes it sound even more entertaining, or whatever twist some people want to put on things. You don't need to do any of that. Listen, people respect honesty today, truth, authenticity, someone being straightforward with them, someone just not, don't beat around the bush is what I'm trying to say. Just tell people like it is. You can tell them exactly what's happened. Let them know, wow, it's incredible. We had no idea we were going to sell 10,000 bottles the last week. We had no idea we were going to do over $1 million in sales our first 4 days of Black Friday. Oh my gosh, wow, incredible. We're so grateful. We're so thankful. But you know what I want to tell you is this will get restocked. And I want to make sure you're on the top of my list because you cannot not have this product.
Hold on. Is it just me? Or did his little speech about being honest come out of nowhere? I'm not going to rewatch it because ain't nobody got time for that. But that just came out of nowhere to me. And his push for that, his plea for other people to be honest and have integrity is essentially giving some sort of, what is the word? Oh, I can't even think of the word. It's like substantiating his own honesty. When you plead for honesty from others, that's essentially saying you're honest yourself, right? And we know he's a big ol' liar. Based off the numbers that they've previously boasted in terms of sales, even his 4 million products seems, and he's not saying that's the actual number, but he's shouting out those numbers in a public call to Nueva Life people. And this is not a disrespect at all. But a lot of these people will take this information and run with it. For example, they'll take that 4 million sold and be like, yeah, I think that they said that 4 million or something was sold. It's crazy. Even though that was just something he just randomly said as a random, you know what I mean? If you understand what I'm saying, Hopefully you do. But I just find that entire little section about being honest and having integrity, and then he rolls right into what that means to him is saying, yeah, just tell them, yeah, 4 million were sold. Okay. Tony, let's be honest. The likelihood that the company is honest with its reps about the behind the scenes ordering and fulfillment and supply negotiations with your manufacturer are probably not disclosed to most reps. So I would find it hard for them to even be able to be honest. They would have to trust what you say. And I doubt you're giving them really much of anything, because even in this video, you're not even giving hard facts. We don't even know which products are really sold out right now at this point. I understand that a lot of these videos, you want them to stand the test of time and be able for people to watch in the future, regardless of the products sold out. Because really, the truth of it could be they did a poor job of ordering. Really, it could be that the manufacturer who's selling their white label products could have sold a majority to another company who's selling the exact same thing they are, and that other company ordered more of their wholesale products. Thus, they were bid out by the other company during the holiday season. Who knows what the actual truth is? And I guarantee you, Tony's not going to tell his reps. But once again, let's let Tony fold in some more.
When you hear what happened to Lisa, when you hear what happened to Michelle, when you hear what happened to Matt, when you hear what happened to Tony, when you hear what happened to Sarah, when you hear what happened to John, man, you are gonna be so fired up, because you're gonna be able to relate to those stories. You're gonna see exactly what they did, and I know you can do it too. And guess what people want? People want to feel better. People want to know they're taking something that works, that gets results, and that, you know what, they can talk about and share with other people in their world, because they want to help other people. One of the things, I was talking with someone the other night, and she said, you know what, Tony, you know what I love so much about what you guys are doing is there's no BS. It's straightforward, and you bring, a level that this profession needs today. And I was just really humbled by that. And I just listened to her tell the story a little bit of what's been happening and what she's been watching and seeing from everything that's been going on here. But she said, you know what I feel so safe about? And I said, what? She says, I have a lot of people that I want to help and bless. One of the things that is, something I look at every single day is, how can I get more people off all the crap as far as the bad foods, the bad sugary drinks, all the stuff they're doing that's not helping their health. It's actually moving it backwards. She's like, I just want to help a lot of people. I just want to give somebody a product or recommend a product that is really the best of the best, that really comes at a level that, people just know, wow, not only did I get this product, but, I got somebody also that cares about me, that wants to help me, that wants to change my life, that wants to put me on a positive track, that wants to put me in a community that will get empowerment, that will get loved on, that people can be vulnerable with. She's like, Tony, so many people today, they have a vulnerable story, and most have multiple ones, but they don't want to share it, because they feel they'll be...
Erin B's an amazing anti-MLM content creator, has actual certifications in some health and wellness fields. She's a great proponent for actual people with actual certifications giving health advice. And I love that these people want to help others. That is a beautiful thing to do. But there are many ways that are not detrimental to these people's health and wellness. Because your personal opinions, your own thoughts, your own research, your own googly woogly searches, your own videos that you've watched from other pseudoscience people, that is not real science with a backed certificate, backed accreditations that will say, you know what the heck you're talking about, Sally Mae. Sally Wally from Nueva Life. I'm sorry. And once again, your intent is beautiful and I love that for you. But there's a million things you can do. Go help that single mother down the road watch her kids so that she can have some time off to get her toes done, right? Like that's more helpful to anyone else and make some money while you're at it. You know, charge her, don't charge her a lot, charge her a small amount, but like things like that, those are quality things you can do. Or don't charge her, that would be even more wonderful because life isn't about money. But if they're, needing extra money or whatever, like those are quality things you can do to truly help people. I've lost 60 pounds and look what I'm drinking. Okay. And I lost that by not drinking alcohol. If you don't know, I'm also a recovering alcoholic. And a huge step in that was removing alcohol from my diet. Do I suggest you do that? I don't care because it's not my prerogative and I'm not your health professional. You have that conversation with your doctor. And yes, health coverage is so expensive right now. It's expensive private, it's expensive even public. And yes, health coverage is hard to get, especially in rural areas. I'm not saying that it's easy peasy, but thankfully things like telehealth exist. But overarchingly, when people who are not professionals, who don't have the appropriate accreditations, give advice to others, and they're using their own research, their own biases, their own experiences, it can do a lot of harm, usually a lot more harm than good, regardless of their intent. It can do that through their mental health, people's relationship with food, their own insecurities, their body image. It can hurt their metabolism through yo-yo dieting. It can do so many things. And once again, I'm not a professional, so I'm sure it can do even more things than that. I encourage you to, once again, do your best to talk with a physician, reach out to your doctor's office and explain your situation. If you do not have coverage, a lot of times they will do everything within their power to work with you. They're there to help you the best they possibly can, and they want to help as many people as possible. Yes, a lot of them are money hungry, but that's usually the insurance companies and not the doctor's offices themselves. All right, eat it up, Tony.
Be laughed at. They feel they'll be ridiculed. They feel they'll be pushed out. They feel like they won't be honored. They feel like they'll be just treated like a piece of garbage. And I said, you know what? I'm with you on that, because it took me years and years and years to be vulnerable about some of the stuff I was dealing with addiction and other challenges and other obstacles and things that I had to work through on my path. And I just remember, I said, you know what? Yeah, I remember not wanting to tell anybody that. It's like I wanted to keep these secrets. Hey, thanks, Shannon. I wanted to keep these secrets all inside of me, so, nobody can hear and nobody can know Tony's secrets and all the pain and struggles and crap I'm dealing with. And then I said to myself, I get that. And then all of a sudden, I felt that I was connected with a group, a community, people that I could just really share all that stuff with. And once I did, it was like this big weight came off of me. You know what I mean, Brenda? It's like this whole weight was removed from my life, and all of a sudden I was fired up again. I was moving again. I didn't have to go grab the bottle. I didn't have to go grab something to get me in a space that I could, be numb so that I could function in life, right? Hey, Elise. And, that's what this is about. So getting back to that, she just said, way to go. Just way to go. Because when more people and more companies do what you guys are doing, that's how this profession gets better. That's how this profession separates from all the other craziness out in the world today. So again, be authentic. Tell the story. Let them know.
So he's encouraging people to be vulnerable about private matters within themselves in order to sell things. And he specifically spoke about addiction, alcoholism, and as Hannah Alonso always says, what's the intent? What is the motive here? And the motive is in fact to sell something. And we've seen it so many times in so many videos. We've got this motive here of trying to get close to people to form these bonds, these relationships, with the intent of having them join your team, become your customer, be your downline. And that relationship would no longer, if it no longer serves them, is no longer beneficial, is severed, is no longer, something that they're interested in. And when we ask ourselves, truly ask ourselves, is that something that I would want in my life? A majority of people would say no. If you took the word Nueva out and you asked a majority of Nueva people if you would want a relationship in which money was involved and you had to be involved in something in which you had to financially be invested, and if you removed your investment in your time and energy in that specific thing, and if you weren't, then your relationships would no longer be either as strong or even be existent. Would you want to establish that relationship? Most people would be like, no, then why would that person even be my friend in the first place? Right? And once again, I do encourage people to share what they're comfortable with. I think sharing, addiction stories and things of that nature are positive because a lot more people are struggling with it than you know. I didn't even think I was an addict until, I was told you better go to rehab or else, bye-bye, intervention style. And then I went to rehab and I was like, wow, shoot. I'm an addict. Wow. And then I saw my behavior perfectly matched up with that of an addict. But at the same time, that's sharing it with people didn't just lift it. I'm still ashamed of that behavior. It's still a heavy burden to bear, not only for me, but for my family. And it didn't magically, just because I have now friends from rehab, it didn't just magically make it go away. This is not a magic recipe. By joining him, by joining his people, by sharing your story, it doesn't magically make it like that never happened. And I'm not per se saying that he's saying that, but it does feel that way. All of a sudden, that burden, was lifted and that's not true. That burden is there. I destroyed trust. I destroyed, relationships, and I, destroyed my body. Thankfully, my liver enzymes back to being stunning and gorgeous. I just do take issue with anyone alluding to the fact that it can be as simple as just sharing your story or something of that nature, because that can give false hope. And addiction is considered a brain disease, and it is much more complicated than just that. So once again, let's let them slice and dice.
Again, you have other products that you can promote, right? I wanted to keep these secrets all inside of me, so nobody can hear and nobody can know Tony's secrets and all the pain and struggles and crap I'm dealing with. And then I said to myself, I get that. And then all of a sudden, I felt that I was connected with a group, a community, people that I could just really share all that stuff with. And once I did, it was like this big weight came off of me. You know what I mean, Brenda? It's like this whole weight was removed from my life, and all of a sudden I was fired up again. I was moving again. I didn't have to go grab the bottle. I didn't have to go grab something to get me in a space that I could, be numb so that I could function in life, right? Hey, Elise. And, that's what this is about. So getting back to that, she just said, way to go. Just way to go, because when more people and more companies do what you guys are doing, that's how this profession gets better. That's how this profession separates from all the other craziness out in the world today. So again, be authentic. Tell the story. Let them know. Again, you have other products that you can promote, right? Build your restocking pre-order list. Go back through all your contacts that wanted this and let them know what happened. If you don't let them know what happened, you've really missed a big piece here. You know that, right?
Forming these bonds and these relationships with people who have ulterior motives can be extremely damaging to yourself, to your self-esteem, to your trust, towards other people. I personally have great trust with my friends and just towards people in general. I just have a general trust towards most individuals that they are kind, nice people, that they have their best foot forward, that they have the best of intentions. I understand that that's not always the case, but that's because I have big boundaries, number one. Number two, I don't allow, people to have ulterior motives. I do think, what are your motives behind being my friend? And I'm also a recluse. I'm very, I love being alone. Maybe it's because I'm a lonely child. I'm not quite sure. Instead of saying an only child growing up, I would always say I'm a lonely child because I literally thought that that's what it meant. Anywho, yeah, it's just these relationships that they're asking you to build, it's so skeezy, it's so schemy, and I wouldn't want a relationship like that if it's built on financial means backing the relationship. And if you are no longer involved in this organization, whatever you want to call it, would they still be your friend if you're not financially invested in this, if you're not attending these Zooms? Who's to say?
I mean, one of the things that we're doing, we're doing Zooms literally all day today, hour on the hour, with teams and people and groups and individuals and small teams, big teams. You know why? Because they need to hear the story. They need to know what's going on. They need to know what to do next. They need to know how to talk to their list, how to add more to their list, how to talk to their team, how to get their team maybe from panic mode to growth mode, to opportunity mode, to new enrollment mode, to new customer mode, to going live mode, to doing real mode, to, getting out there and being visible. I mean, one of the biggest things you can do right now, and if this happens to you, is you want to be more visible than anybody else out there today. And you want to tell the story, and you want to create curiosity, and you want to create engagement, and you want to get people added to groups, and you want to get people added to chats, and you want to let them see people's transformation. You want to let people's, hey, what's up, Pamela? Minneapolis. Yes, yes, yes. No snow today. If you have snow, put snow in the comments, because we were supposed to get some snow today, and we escaped the snow. So I like when I don't see snow out there. And I don't see snow today. But you want to really get into that mode right now, because this is a tool for you to really get re-engagement, to get activity, to get growth, to get winning, to get excitement up, to get urgency back. Like, I love this because
when I actually articulate that into layman's terms, to me, that sounds like be annoying. Be that social media person that people hit, like, hide these, silence this person. Like, I do not want to see their crap. Because that visibility that he's talking about, it's on social media. And to be constantly popping up on someone's page, posting before and afters and posting lives, and not only is it exhausting for the rep, but it's exhausting for everyone who's following you. They could care less. And sure, there might be a person or two that is drawn in by your curiosity post, but for the mass majority of people, we don't want to fight it. We don't want to fight it. It is annoying. It is... it's something that we hide. Once again, if we're interested, we'll go to it. But these days, it's just everyone's trying to sell you something. Consumers are exhausted. In this economy, we don't have money for your crap. In this economy, we have money for hot girl walks. In this economy, we have money for water. In this economy, we barely have money for fruits and vegetables. Okay, Bookie Smokies, like... in this economy, we just want to have some giggly wigglies at our phone. That's what we go to our phone for. Not for you to be constantly pushing us, not for us to have Bath and Body Works employees literally on our phones staring at us. Hey, smell this, smell this. It's buy free, get free free, buy free, get free free. Because we're so just tired of being advertised to. We're so tired of being sold to. We get it. It's a capitalist economy. You know, we understand that you need to sell us stuff in order for your, business to stay afloat, in order for you to keep, your employees as employees and for them to keep their jobs, etc. We understand that. But at the same time, consumers themselves, we're tired. We're exhausted. We just don't want to see you selling your crap online anymore. Period. Get to chopping, Tony.
We want urgency in our business, right? When we talk to people about products, opportunity. Hey, Angie, when we talk to people about growth, when we talk to people about our new business.
Sorry, I've never done like a live. I did like one a long time ago and it was really quick and like 3 people were on it. But there's something so funny about specifically how they do it. Julie Anderson, her lives are beautiful. They're perfect. Airbnbs, once again, beautiful, perfect. I love them. But like when they're doing their lives and they're just like, have this whole ramble schmamble, and especially them because they're so serious with it. Even when they try to joke, they're just so serious with it. And then all of a sudden, hey Angie. Hey Angie. What's up, Tom? Hi Pamela. So funny. I just freaking love it. I couldn't imagine. Whereas like, Julie Anderson, she's so organic with it. She's like, oh, so-and-so's here. Woo. Like, she's just so cute. She's so fun. Huge shout out to her for shouting out me. Like every time she does that, I'm like, who? Me? Bye. And it's so cute. It's so fun. And I don't need any shout outs. I just love watching her. I'm just literally just a viewer. And I'm just happen to be logged into my account. Sometimes I switch to my other account and watch her from that account instead. So nobody knows it's me, but yeah, I absolutely adore her. So anyway, hi Angie.
Right? And again, we get all that. No snow in Texas. I love that. So this gives you already built-in urgency that you just get the transfer to other people because you're telling the story, right? And some people say, well, Tony, how do I tell the story? Just be real, just be authentic, and keep it short. People don't want a whole winded 3, 4, 5, 10-minute story time, about something like this. Oh, no snow in Canada. I love that too, Lisa. So you just want to make sure that you have like a 30-second story down, a 15-second story down, maybe a 45-second story down, and just talk about what's happened. Talk about what you're doing. Talk about when it's coming back. Talk about, how they can be first. Talk about how they can't miss out on this. Talk about what it's going to do for them around the holidays. Holy cow, the one that we just sold out of, people are like, I need that for Thanksgiving. I need that for December. I need that for Christmas. Oh my gosh, this is the perfect thing for me. This is the perfect thing for my world. This is the perfect thing for everything that we're doing, right? For all the, stocking stuffers and all the stuff that we're doing in the community and at all these parties we're getting invited to. So it's that good. It's that great. So figure that out, right?
15-second story. What kind of story is that? I feel like a 15-second sales pitch is what he's trying to say, but he's like masquerading it as a story. That makes no sense to me. And he's not giving any example once again. And once again, we're at a great marker here. We're 20 minutes in. Let's discuss what have we learned from this momentous video that he put out yesterday on his profile. What have we learned in the last now 20 minutes? We have learned to pivot to selling other products. Duh. We have learned to contact your customers. Duh. Like, shouldn't you always be doing this? Don't panic. We have learned to be extremely vulnerable and honest. Okay, whatever. Already said my 2 cents on that. And then we've learned to have a 45, 30, 15-second story, aka sales pitch, at the ready. I don't know, guys. Would you say that that's valuable information? I'm trying to genuinely think, is that valuable information? If I heard that, would that be valuable to me? To me, no. Once again, as a professional, if I was a sales rep, no, that's not helpful. And maybe I shouldn't, maybe coming at it from a professional salesperson, I shouldn't think of this. They're training brand new salespeople, so maybe I should think of it like they should handle them with kid gloves. And maybe I'm coming at it from a wrong point of view. That's my fault. Okay, that's fine. The kid gloves, then they need to go back to basics of how to sell something, sell something. And I think if you're going back to that level of basics where you're talking to them like this, you got way different bases to cover. How do you create a sales pitch? How do you gain rapport with your customer? How do you not make it sound sales pitchy? How are you, building the yeses? How are you, overcoming objections? How are you doing things of that nature that are genuine sales tactics instead of this BS, which is have a 15-second story? Guys, you know me, I talk way too much. I couldn't even freaking say yes in 15 seconds.
And just be storytelling. That's the thing I want to close with. I want you to storytell like you've never.
Sorry, before he says close with, we still have nearly 10 minutes left. I don't know what kind of closing he thinks that is, but 10 minutes left is not a close if you ask me.
Never storytelled before. And I want you to work on this and practice this. I remember one of my first mentors almost 30 years ago. He said, you know what, Tony, you don't need to know the comp plan. I said, really? He goes, you don't need to know all the ingredients in the product. I said, really? He says, you don't need to know how all the trainings work when people go there and what the flow looks like. I said, really? He said, you don't need to know all that. And he goes, that's most people. They think they need to know all this stuff, and you don't need to know any of it. He goes, you know what you need to know? He goes, you need to know how to talk in stories. You need to know how if you are doing this business 5 hours a week, 10 hours a week, full time, all you do is talk in stories. All you do is share stories. All you do is answer questions with stories. All you do is answer objections with stories. All you do is get people connected to other people. All you do is get someone in a group, in a chat,
Number one, understanding a comp plan at a job is like the bare minimum, in my opinion. I know Chelsea Suarez, she is also someone who is in sales. You can just tell she's got that sales swagger. Like, she just oozes it, right? She always says, like, she's not a comp plan person. For me, especially the line of work that I was in, it was like the difference between $1,000 if you didn't understand a comp plan, because like minimum, right? Like on multiple different levels. Because if you sold X instead of Y, you would be missing out on your threshold. Once again, every comp plan is different, but why, if you're working a job, would you not understand how you get paid at it? And then for him to say to not understand your products, could you imagine you buy a product from this absolute tool who tells you this delightful story of how it helped so and so and got these amazing results. You get the product and it doesn't do crap, and he didn't inform you that it's probably not best if you're taking X, Y, and Z medication, or if you have a pacemaker, whatever the heck. And you're like, wow, this information would have been great before I spent $250 on this crap that this guy sold me. Wish he was better informed. Tony, you are leading your peeps down a very poorly informed rabbit hole of crap sales tactics, if you ask me. This is ridiculous.
In a text thread, in a one-on-one moment, if that's what they need. All you do is storytell, and if you storytell, you will make it. I made my first $10,000 a month in my 20s when I first started network marketing. Now, don't clap too much because it took me about 5-6 years to get there, to get to $10,000 a month. And I thought I was rich because I thought that was like, oh my God, I could never spend $10,000 a month. You know what I mean? What am I going to spend that on? It's just me, right? I got me and that's it. And what I got to and what I figured out to get there was I stopped trying to be a comp plan expert. I stopped trying to be a product expert. I stopped being an encyclopedia for the whole company. I just go, I'm leaving that all over here. There's a place for that, but I can use other people to do that for me because that ain't working for me right now. But I got to $10,000 a month in my 20s, and I did that through one thing. All I stopped doing was being an encyclopedia of all these facts, and all I did was storytell. All I did was tell other people's stories. All I did was tell other people's stories on the product. Other people's stories, how they made that part-time income. Other people's stories, how they made $300 a month. Other people's stories, how they made $500 a month. Other people's stories, how they made $1,000 a month. Other people's stories, how they made 6 figures. Other people's stories, how they got started. They had no time at all. They were working, 60, 70 hours a week. They started carving out a couple hours a week doing this business, and this is what happened to them. Oh my God, you got to meet.
What a skeezy little slime ball. What a skeezy little slime ball. Look, that's his face when he knows he gets caught. Being a skeezy little slime ball. That's the way that they like to worm their way around income claims. Because he's like, I'm not saying they can. I'm just saying a story about someone who did. The second that he is making it seem as though it is something that other people can do as well, he is making an income claim. The FTC makes it very broad. They are not, you have to specifically say in this specific way, type and form. Go look up Section 5. Go for it, honey bunnies. But they are very broad with it. They're saying you need to make sure that it is average. The average person makes it. And if you are advertising, if you are making it seem that way, if it is not easily available, if it is not read in a certain way, there's all kinds of things that is very clearly written in there. And it says you need to put in there, my income is not average, earning disclosures listed below. Of course, they get away with all kinds of stuff. We know that the FTC's department is very small. It's hard to build cases against them, yada, yada, yada. But this is a way that these skeezy little slime balls get away with junk. He is saying, and I repeat, and he said it a multitude of times, in layman's terms, I said a bunch of income claims that were false that I should have never said in order to give people false hope about the income opportunities that they will never have, 99.9% of them, that they will never have in order to get my greedy self some more money so I can make $10,000 a month. And he's right. What do you need with $10,000 a month? And I'm a very, very, very strong proponent. And I'm not, one of those you got to give your money to everyone. I'm not, whatever, communist, socialist. I don't freaking know. I understand the importance of a capitalist economy. Hate me. I don't care. It's not my problem. But at the same time, I love living a simple, normal life. I don't want a mansion. I don't need the most expensive things. I love the simplicity of a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. The fact that I have that, the fact that I live in a safe area, the fact that I have a vehicle, it is the most, the biggest blessing of the freaking world. And greed is so, and I'm going to get a little bit on the Christian high horse. Once again, he hasn't brought up faith manipulation. He said a little bit about blessings and stuff here. But this is all for greed. What is it worth? What is your manipulation of so many people? What is it worth to put out this content for 10, and he said that was just when I was in my 20s. He's now who knows how old, 40, 50, I don't freaking know, not my problem. But he is now clearly making way more than that. And that means that there's been, what, decade, 2, 3, that he has been using these type of tactics and alluding to all these people making all this money so that he can make gobs of money per month that he doesn't need. He doesn't need that money in order to live a happy, successful life. Money does not equal happiness. Yes, there's a level of security. There's a level of understanding that money is a resource and that it provides the ability to get good medical coverage, that it provides you the ability to live in security and safety. Absolutely. And I'm not saying that it doesn't. But to have gobs of it, to live in a mansion, to have gardeners, to have, friggin' super nice cars that you don't need. A Honda Civic gets you the same place as a Mercedes Benz. It really does. In fact, it probably has better safety ratings. And so what? So people can think you look cool? Who freaking cares? Nobody cares. And you're the one who cares. His greed, his freaking copper plates behind us, nobody cares. My light switches do the goddamn same thing. They do the same thing. My car does the same thing and my house does the same thing. Keeps me warm, keeps my family safe, and keeps our family cozy and safe and protected. The greed, watching another great anime right now. I don't think it's everyone's cup of tea, so I'm not going to say it out loud because maybe not everyone will like it. But they're going through this great section on human greed right now, and this just totally made me think of it. And it's so palpable with MLM people in the top 1%, especially how they don't stop. Even when they've reached the top, they just don't stop. So let's let him continue to bake.
Meet them. They're a plumber too. Oh my God, you got to meet them. They're a teacher too. Oh my God, you got to meet them. They do that and drive the bus just like you drove the bus. I would just connect and connect and connect. And I remember it was weird initially because I was like, man, I feel like I'm not really doing the business. And thanks, Tracy. And
Sorry, and that one comment about him relying on other people to know important information about the products. Skeezy slimeball. I took great pride in being someone who knew so much about information. And it's okay to tell a customer, I don't know, let me find that information for you. I'd rather be honest and say I don't know, but let me find that information for you than relying on your coworkers. And yes, I would go to someone, every once in a while if it was in a pinch and I couldn't find the information, but I'd rather find the information myself, help me retain the information, and then once again, be a resource not only for customers, but for fellow coworkers. But no, he's I'll let someone else take on that product knowledge.
And then I said to myself, no, I am doing the business. But the way I'm doing the business now is the way everyone should do the business, in my opinion, because it converts, because it works, because you now don't get drilled. And all of a sudden, I used to get drilled with all the product questions and the comp plan questions and all these questions that I would just be like, oh my gosh, stop. I can't listen to these questions anymore. And I'd have all these questions every day. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, oh my gosh, thanks, Janet. I'm not getting these questions anymore. They're actually getting their questions answered from the people that are intelligent enough, that are in that space, that are really good at that stuff, that can answer those questions. I'm getting people say, I want to be a customer and buy. I want to join your business. I want to be a part of the group. Put me on the Zoom tonight. Put me in that chat with Cheryl. I need to hear her story because she is just like me. Stop telling me about it, Tony. I want to meet this woman. And that was the stuff that started coming my way. And when that stuff started coming my way, guess what started happening? I'm making $1,000 a month. I'm making $2,000 a month. I'm making $3,000 a month. I'm making $5,000 a month. I get to $10,000 a month. And I'm just like, brilliant. Stop being the encyclopedia, dude. and start speaking in stories and get your storytelling down. So I'll close you with this. I always practice stories. People say, how do you practice stories? Well, I would get to know people around me. So back then I worked in a training center. So I would get there early in the morning before people got on the phones and started booking appointments to bring people in to see the business. And I would go around to them. I'd get to know their name. I'd get to know where they're from. I'd get to know their background. I'd get to know what product changed their life. I'd get to know what they did to start making $500 a month. I get to know more of, if they went to trainings, what that training did for them. And I would find out maybe what defining moment they had in their life. And I would get all this down and I'd write it down in one of my big notebooks. Back then it was, a binder. And I would just write all these stories down. So then as I'm on the phone, I would have my book open and I would just start, boom, let me tell you Don's story. Boom, let me tell you Leanne's story. Boom, let me tell you Marsha's story. Boom, let me tell you Jared's story.
Could you just picture him as Leonardo DiCaprio in Wolf of Wall Street? Listen, I got a great opportunity here for you. It's unlike anything. You're the one. You're the pal. It's the top secret just for you. Da, 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 da. Could you just imagine it? I can. I surely, really can.
Boom, let me tell you Mark's story. Boom, let me tell you Rich's story, right? And I wouldn't say that. I would just bring up their name and bring up their story. Bring up their name and bring up their story. Bring up their name and bring up their story. And I'd be like, hey, Leanne, if Rich can do this, and Marsha can do this, and Shelly has exactly what's going on in your life right now, you can do it too. You got this. And we're going to show you exactly how to do it. We're going to show you exactly what to get. We're going to show you exactly the steps you need to take. And we're going to show you exactly what you need to do to start winning.
I love when they always say that. We're going to show you exactly what you need to do. This is them showing you. What a horrible job. What a horrible job.
And that was it. And guess what? They started signing up. They started buying. And I started getting duplication. And everyone's like, dude, how are you getting all this duplication? You are in your 20s. We've watched you the last couple years, and we love your persistence, but man, how are you doing this now? And then I would just tell them what I'm doing, and then they started doing it because they loved the results that were going on. And then they started getting those results. So that is the magic to our business. So I started out saying sold out isn't a setback. It's a signal that you've got a heck of a company. You've got a heck of a product or products that are high in demand. Your marketing is crushing. Your customers trust you. Your customers can't get enough. Your customers want more. And your company is hot, fresh, moving. And instead of thinking like, oh my gosh, the sky is falling and panic mode sets in and you fall apart, you think about opportunity, 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 and what you can do so that when this thing drops back in your lap in a couple days, that when you get it, you grow it bigger than you ever grew it before. And that is the message today. So if you got some value out of this, let me know in the comments. If you're new to this, let me know new. Replayers, what's going on? If you stayed to the end, how are you? Drop replay and share this out. If you got some people struggling, tag them to this video. If you got some people that are just messed up because of, a comp plan change, a product being sold out, something being taken away, something that maybe isn't coming back for a while, tag them to this so that they don't throw in the towel and that they see this and they reframe it. Remember, when you reframe anything, guess what? You can do whatever you want to do. And that's what this is all about. And you'll learn this the more and more and more you do this business, because anybody in the entrepreneur world, anybody in our space, this is what happens. And you should just go, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I got a great product. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I have a great company. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I have great leaders. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I have great groups. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I have great tools. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm gonna have one of the biggest months ever. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm getting this product back, and when it comes back, I'm gonna blow this up and show my sponsor I'm not panicking, but I use this as an opportunity, and they're gonna be like, dang, you got it, you're growing, way to go. See, that's what it's about. So I love you guys. Take care. You're awesome. And we'll be talking to you on the next live. Have a good one.
That last little portion where he's just thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm all for gratitude, but there is something incredibly valuable about questioning and using your own discernment, something I say all the time about why is this company doing X, Y, and Z? Why is their supply running out? What, and I'm not saying that that's not important. I'm not saying that that doesn't just happen sometimes. But once again, we know it's a common tactic with certain companies, et cetera, et cetera. But just being grateful for a company and its leaders, and that he's essentially saying you should only be grateful for him. No, Tony. They have every right to question you for whatever reason they deem fit, regardless of their association with you, regardless of anything. So, this was a great video for its absolute cringe factor, for the fact that he came out and pretty much said that he uses manipulation tactics, which, let's be honest, let's be really, really honest, right? Commercials, they don't sit there and go, this deodorant is fantastic for you because, right? They're over here being like, whoosh, ah, chicka, ooh, chicka, right? It's all about the vibes, the feelings, right? That sells. It's the emotions behind it. We understand that as consumers, advertisers understand that. But at the same time, there's a level of education that customers deserve and want, especially when you're selling wellness products. All right. And especially when you are a one-on-one consumer to a salesperson, you need to have some level of education. And he just strikes me as one of the sleaziest slime balls that I ever did see, to be quite honest. So I appreciate you sticking with me in probably my most vulnerable so far video to make. I'm glad to be back. I appreciate your time in watching this. Please subscribe if you haven't already. It means the absolute world to me. And you have a wonderful day. Bye.